everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is the Auntie Mo and it is episode 2 of Employment for Dummies. So on today's episode, I will be discussing sexual harassment in the workplace. Now, before I do begin discussing sexual harassment in the workplace, I just like to define what sexual harassment is. Sexual harassment is defined as unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature. So that is what sexual harassment is. When unwelcome sexual advances are made towards you by either the same or the opposite sex. For the purpose of this series, I'll be discussing sexual harassment in the workplace and the steps maybe that you can take how to deal with. So sexual harassment in the workplace is not something that is uncommon. It is something that we've heard about. It's something that probably majority of us have already experienced. And this is basically just me sharing my experience of what had happened to me and how I dealt with it and nipped it in the bud. This was some time ago after I had just been newly employed. I was fresh meat, as they would say, or as they would call it. And I had come across a certain gentleman that was working at our place of work. He doesn't work there anymore. And every single time, okay, to give you guys context, I think it's important for me to describe how it is that I know this person. Where do I know them from? This is someone that I had attended church with. It's somebody that I was familiar with because I had always seen him at our church. And it is someone that I just used to see from, I know him for sure, or that I know him personally. I just knew that he attended the same church that I had attended. So I started working. I came into contact with him, and from the onset that he found out that I was working now at my current place of work, he was basically making it known to me that he wanted to kiss me, that he was interested in me in a way that was not professional at all. And I never entertained those conversations to say that I never basically welcomed his sexual advances towards me. I never took him seriously. I always laughed it off and tried to act like I didn't hear that he said he wanted to kiss me, or that he wanted to hold me, or that he wanted to visit me. This gentleman, who I will not name, just to protect myself firstly and his identity as well, was making sexual advances at me. Every time that he would enter my office, he would express that he wanted to visit me at home. He would ask me if I was alone at home, and he would basically tell me how great he was in bed. Basically all the kind of things you don't really want to hear from your colleague, he would tell me. And this is a gentleman that is most probably because I'm in my late 20s. He's most probably 2 decades older than me. So his sexual advances towards me were definitely unwelcome, and it's not something that I found funny, but it is definitely something that always made me feel uncomfortable. And it carried on for a while. There was a time that he followed me to the office kitchen, and he cornered me in the office kitchen, saying that he really, really liked me and that he wanted us to be involved in a sexual manner. And I always declined and told him that that's not my style, that I wasn't at all interested. The nature of my job basically is that I'm responsible for buildings, so I manage property. So on that fateful morning, I had gone to another department of our workplace. Basically, we are situated at 3 different positions. The head office is in town, our office is located within the location, and then the office that I had to go to where he is stationed is also almost adjacent to our office, but around about 400 to 500 meters away from our office. So on this faithful morning, I had driven to the office where the technical department is based, and this gentleman is part of the technical department. So I went there so that I could get the cleaners to take them to the building where they had to clean and then to drop them off. And while I was waiting for the cleaners so that I could transport them, let me give him a name. What name? But I don't also want to use people's names, man, because this person is not a really nice person, hey? So, okay, I'll just call him... What do I call him though? Okay, I won't call him anything. So basically, I was waiting for the cleaners in the car, and he approached the car when he saw me. And he had this really sickening smile on his face. I don't know, guys, there's just something about people who are perverted. They just have this look about them that's so like creepy. So he approaches the car and he says that he wants to show me something. So he then proceeds to take out his phone and he leans into the car, invading my personal space, and he shows me a video that is having content of a sexually explicit nature. Now, this is someone that I don't know. This is someone that I know from church, kind of sort of has a leadership position, and I was speechless because I guess I didn't expect it. It was definitely unexpected. I mean, it's early in the morning. I had just gotten to work and I was going about my daily tasks at the office. So when he proceeded to show me a video with a pornographic nature, I didn't know what to say. I was speechless. I was very, very disturbed, but more so I was very, very shocked when he did that. And then he proceeded to say, do you know how to do this? Like, I know how to do this, we could do this. And I was like, wow, aren't you supposed to be a prominent figure at church? Aren't you supposed to be a senior colleague of mine? Like, how do you do that? I'm new here. I don't understand. I was very, very disturbed. I was not happy at all with what he had done. To cut a long story short, the cleaners get on the car and I drive off. I dropped off the cleaners where they had to go, and then I got to the office. But then when I got to the office parking lot, to our office now, I sat in the car for a while, and I just thought back to how his unwelcome sexual advances were drastically escalating. And I got really, really emotional. I think the gravity of what he had done had just gotten to my mind at that point. And it wasn't cool. It wasn't a really nice experience. I felt like a sex object. I felt so disrespected by a fellow colleague. I didn't feel safe at all with him being around, even at the workplace. So, as I had mentioned in episode 1 of Employment for Dummies, I went to my supervisor as, you know, the correct line of communication when you do experience any type of difficulty at the workplace. I went to her and I told her what had happened to me and how it had made me feel. And it was so, I don't know, I didn't expect how much it had actually affected me, but it really affected me because I just burst out in tears. And I was I was shocked, man. I was shocked and I was hurt. Like, I'm in her office and I'm telling her what happened, and I start crying. I don't know. I just thought it wouldn't affect me as much as it did. So it's almost as if when it happened, like my body was in shock, like I was in shock. So the effects of what he had done was slowly like unraveling, and I was starting to really trying to make it make sense of what he actually did to me. And she was telling me how I should go and report him to a colleague of ours, another male, another gentleman, and then maybe that gentleman could talk to him to maybe back off or to apologize. And then I don't know how I felt about spreading what had happened to more of my colleagues in the office. I didn't want it to, make it to the office newspaper. So talking to my supervisor, and together we reached a conclusion that I should actually, the next time that he comes to the office, I should pull him aside and basically just inform him that what he had done was very, very wrong, and how I didn't appreciate it, how I truly felt by what he had done, and that just to basically tell him, like, listen here, if you don't stop, I'm going to report you to HR, and this is going to be like, bigger than it actually needs to be. So stop. Like, just stop. I'm not interested. A few mornings later, not too long after what he did, he shows up to my office, and I pull him aside. I took him outside. We stepped outside, and I basically told him that what he did on that morning really, really hurt me, because firstly, I'm not interested in him. His sexual advances towards me are unwelcome, because I'm just not interested. And I think firstly, I'm his colleague, so what he did was very unprofessional, and I'm a female colleague, so it's very, very wrong for him to do that. And I basically explained to him that never in any of his advances have I ever made it seem to him, and if I had, I just wanted him to know that I was not in favor, or that I wasn't enjoying his sexual advances towards me, basically. That's what I told him, and I told him if he doesn't stop, that I will report him, and yeah, that he shouldn't see me as one of the guys, because I think his explanation was like, no, as guys, we normally share videos like that. And I said, but I'm not a guy, I'm your female colleague, and I don't want to be shown that. I'm not interested in that, and I'm not gonna have sex with you. I'm just very, very disturbed, and I feel very disrespected by what you did, and I feel like I give you all the respect as a colleague, a fellow colleague of mine, and you have not returned any of that respect ever since I joined the company. So I explained that to him, and I could see this man shrink. I think he didn't expect me to confront him on the situation. He didn't expect me to say to him in very clear terms that no means no, you need to stop what you're doing, otherwise I'm going to report you. After that conversation, never ever, even though he came to our office to maybe do some paperwork, he would never look at me directly in the eye. He would always avoid me, and would basically just greet each other like, hi, good morning, and that was it. No small talk, no pleasantries, just greetings. I'm really, really proud of myself that I had the balls to confront him, to really just express my feelings. I'm glad that I didn't hide it, and that I didn't keep silent. I'm glad that I found my inner voice, and that I could express to him how wrong what he did was, and how it had made me feel. And I honestly just really want to say that if there's anybody out there who has ever experienced sexual harassment, whether it be in the workplace, in the home, at school, at university, no matter where it may be. Sexual harassment is sexual harassment. No means no. And this is not how we as human beings, same sex or opposite sex, should be relating to each other. We need to learn to respect each other, irregardless of age, race, sex, whatever it may be. Just respect each other. Don't go around touching people, grabbing people's bums, hugging them, or invading their personal space. It's wrong, guys. It's wrong. It's giving off the no feeling, especially when the person hasn't expressly said, "Hey Sarah, I really like you. Can I maybe engage with you on a non-professional way?" So if you haven't had those cues and the person hasn't communicated that to you, don't go around touching people, hugging them, or sending them explicit content, guys. It's very, very wrong. And if somebody does that to you in the workplace, please, by all means, don't hide it. Go immediately. Don't wait for this to go far to where the person starts groping you and feeling on your body. Like, go to your supervisors, report these incidents, and follow it through, even if it has to be a report that has to be done in writing. Like, report these incidents, because the world that we live in is slowly but surely getting more and more unsafe, and we really need to take all the steps that are necessary in order to stop such vile and inappropriate acts. Ever since then, I am very upfront with people in the very beginning. If I just feel that, okay, this line of communication, like, we are crossing boundaries, I make it very clear that I'm not going to engage in any sexual activity with any colleague, and that it is strictly professional and that they need to stop. And I voice immediately when somebody is making me feel uncomfortable. So I advise that you guys do the same. And once you do that, you will really have a more peaceful work environment, and you won't have to look like over your shoulder every time somebody's around you. So set the record straight. Let us all respect each other. Let us respect our colleagues. And if that is not happening and you pull the person aside and they still don't change, put it in writing, take it to your supervisor, follow the necessary channels, and get the justice that you deserve. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more employment with dummies, because there's definitely more coming. And yeah, kindly do like, comment, and subscribe. If you have had any type of similar experiences, feel free to share it with me in the comment section. And yeah, until next time, toodles.